Hey you guys, Laura here, and today we're going to be going over a short sideline hip strengthening series. We're going to be going through a hip strengthening series, and how do you know if this series is going to be right for you? Well, if you have hip pain, lower back pain, maybe even knee pain, then this series can help you to alleviate some of that discomfort. If you are a runner or you have a hobby that incorporates running, like basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball, anything like that, it's going to help you. If you have tight hips, then this is also going to help you, because what is so amazing about this specific Pilates series is that even though the goal is to strengthen the pelvis and to strengthen your hips and your glutes, it also is going to incorporate some hip mobility aspects to it as well. So go ahead and grab your mat. You won't need any weights for this or any props for this, but if you would like to make this exercise a little bit more difficult, what you can do in the future is add in some ankle weights, maybe even add in one of those looped resistance bands to add in a little bit of extra tension to strengthen those glutes even more. But I really encourage you to try out these exercises without any props to begin with, so that you can make sure that your form is crystal clear, because it's not necessarily about how heavy you're lifting or how tough you're trying to be. It really is going to be about the form and executing it properly and correctly, so that we're making sure that those stabilizing muscles, the small muscles in your hips, are what we're targeting here. So go ahead, meet me at your mat, and we'll go ahead and get started. Alright you guys, so here I am on my mat, and what I've got going on here is I've aligned up from my hip all the way to my fingertips with the back line of my mat. So that's going to make sure that I have my spine in a nice straight line, so I'm not having my hips behind me, I'm not having my chest in front of me. I have everything lined up with something that's tangible for me to line up with. You imagine also that you're up against a wall here. So my shoulders are stacked, my hips are stacked, and I'm going to plop these feet right to the front corner of my mat here. I'm going to have my ear resting on my arm here, but what you can also do is you can prop up and use like the bottom tip of your elbow, and that's going to also help to strengthen a little bit more of the side body, get you a little bit more of your oblique working. But because we are trying to target our hips and trying to focus on the stability and strengthening through our pelvis, I'm going to go ahead and rest my head down. The first thing that we're going to do are lower lifts. So your top leg here, that's the one we're going to start with. I want you to lift the leg up to the sky and then lower the leg down to the floor. And if you would like to, like me, you can flex and point your foot as you're moving through space. That's going to help with a little bit of ankle mobility, strengthening through the calf, strengthening through the foot as well. So really good, like I said, if you're focusing for being a runner. And as we're lifting the leg up, you want to think that it's that thigh bone that lifts the leg up towards the sky, that I'm not leading through my foot, even though it's my foot that goes up to the ceiling. I'm really thinking outer hip, inner thigh. My hips stay square so that I'm not moving from front to back here. I'm also trying to keep a long waist so that I'm not using my back. So as I lift up, I'm not squishing myself. You can see that I'm reaching through my leg so that I'm really maximizing the work through my outer hip here. You can do anywhere from around 10, 12. We're going to do quite a bit here. So I'm going to stick with about 10. Once you've got your 10, I want you to find your foot about hip width apart. So I always like to reset as if someone's pulling my ankle out of my hip socket, giving me my length in my waist. I'm going to start by bringing my foot back behind me. You might even want to put a kickstand right in front of your belly button, and you're going to take the foot back in front of you, back behind you. But notice that I'm not arching my back, my shoulders and my back don't move. I'm using my bottom to push my heel backwards, using my belly to bring my foot forward. Belly in as the foot goes back, belly in as the foot goes forward. I'm also utilizing my bottom leg to help keep me stable. If my bottom leg wasn't pushing into the ground, that would also make me kind of rock back and forth as well. Bringing awareness to your shoulders being open here and trying to keep this top foot even and in line with my hip bone. So hopefully you see that it's not falling down towards the ground into the back, and it's also not falling down into the ground to the front either. It stays even with the line of my pelvis. I'm going to do 3 more because I think that brings me to about 10. You can breathe, or I hope that you're breathing while you're doing these. And then I'm going to have you take your foot even to even. So here, you should already feel a little bit of heat through the outside of the hip here. And know that we are targeting glute min and med, which sit here. Hopefully you're not feeling anything in your lower back. If you do, just shorten the range of motion. That means that you are using your back to help you move the leg. You want to use your hip. Now, next exercise. Imagine once again that you've got that leg reaching long out of your hip. We're going to do baby circles. This one here, not so much for mobility. You can tell that the other one, the first one that we did, where we're going up to the sky and down to the ground, working on what we call external rotation of the hip, getting you more mobility as it goes out and open. The second one we did, you should feel like you were getting more mobility through the hamstring as you were kicking backwards. Last 2, 1, now we're going to switch legs. You do want to feel like your heel striking as the heel touches towards your bottom foot, lifting from the outer hip and controlling that descent down and together through the inner thigh. 9 and 10. Okay, this one for me, I chose my hip surgery side for you, so this one might be a little sloppy. I'll try really hard just for you guys to make it look really nice and pretty. But you want to, once again, find that reach out of your hip socket. We're going to do big circles now. So I'm going to go forward, like that first leg kick, up to the sky, back to the wall, and then in and together. Oh, I did pretty good that one. Forward towards you, up and around. How high to the ceiling can you touch? And then back and together. We're only going to do 4. Forward, up and around, and then together. Last one this direction, then we're going to switch. Forward, hamstring stretch, upwards, hip mobility, working through the acetabulum, and together. Now, whenever we do circles in Pilates, we always have to go the other way. We're both directions. So now we're going to go backwards. We're going to lift up, around, and together. So you want to go within your body's mobility. You don't want to feel any pinching, any sharpness in that hip socket. If you do, shorten the range. Less is sometimes more. Your body sends you signals. It tries to communicate with you. And together. Woo! Okay. So now, just with those, 4 different exercises that we did, I do feel a little bit of heat in the hips. I'm going to take my top hand. For me, it's my right. I've been working my right leg. Top hand. And I'm going to try to grab my ankle. So, glide it up towards me. Step it right in front of my hip bone, and I'm going to reach for my ankle. Here, once again, I am working on that external rotation of the hip. It gives me an opportunity to stretch out my hip, and I'm going to work my inner thigh of my bottom leg. Here, I'm not really trying to jam my ankle towards me. I just try to meet it where it is, loving on my body, opening up my top knee. Bottom foot is going to go up to the sky, lower down to the ground. Up to the sky, lower down to the ground. And you should still feel your top hip working to stabilize you here. Belly pulling into the back. I'm going to hold my top leg on my 10th one, point my bottom foot, and we're going to do little circles. Inner thigh. Still trying to open through my top knee, stretch through the top hip as I'm working through my inner thigh on the bottom leg. The inner thigh, outer hip work in partnership to keep your gait straight, right? So I mentioned that this is going to be helping with knee pain or hip pain. So sometimes when we have, I'm going to switch directions, sometimes when we have a misalignment in the body that causes some torque, some tension in our joints. So really helping to strengthen from the front, from the back, from the inside and the outside to help you regain that alignment, that symmetry back into your pelvis. This is 9 and 10. Woo, lower down, straighten out the leg. And now we're going to switch to the other side. I'll do both sides with you guys today. I'm going to still make sure that I'm lined up with my whole back line to the back edge of my mat. And then from here, I'm going to move my feet a little bit so that they're forward to the corner. My belly is in. I'm up against my imaginary wall. I'm anchoring through my bottom leg, which means that I use my outer hip to push it downwards. And we start with the straight leg lower lifts. I'm going to sweep it upwards, flex, and come right back down. Again, point up, flex, and come right back down. You reach with energy so that you make sure that the thigh bone is reaching long and out of the socket so that hip bone is depressing away from your shoulder, away from your rib cage. If this leg seems harder, the second side seems harder, totally okay. Remember that it was already working to help stabilize you on the other side. So it might not have anything to do with the fact that this is my left side. It just has to do with that it already was working. This is 9. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to go into the forward back sweeps. So lift it so that we're even. You want that foot, make sure not pointed up, not pointed down, is even, parallel. Belly into back. Grab your kickstand if you need it. You're going to kick forward, and you're going to kick backwards, booty. Kick forward, belly in. Make sure you're not rocking and rolling to the forward and back. We're stabilizing through our upper body. You can press the palm down. Stabilizing through your bottom leg, pulling that belly into back, utilizing our glute to help press backwards, utilizing our belly to help pull the leg forward. The outer hip is responsible for keeping the ankle in line with your hip socket, in line with that hip level, as we're working lower abdominals and those glutes, very similar to your stride, kind of similar. Last 3. 2, 1 more, then we're going to go ankle to ankle. Once you're here, every time we reset, I always like to imagine that my top leg is trying to grow longer than my bottom leg. And now from here, point your toe, little baby circles. Inner thigh kiss, inner thigh kiss. So here you can turn out the foot if you would like to. That external rotation will target a little bit more of the outer hip, or you can stay parallel, your choice. This one depends on your structure, whether you can act, which foot position you want to take. Last 3, 2, and 1. Switch directions. Belly to back, bottom foot down, trying to get longer as you trace your circle. This is 8 for me. 9, 1 more for 10. Awesome job, you guys. Now remember, we got those big circles here. Let's see how this one does. We're going to go backwards first, up and over, and then we touch. Backwards, up and over, and we touch. 2 more for 4. This one's shorter. Back, up, and around. Really trying to stabilize through your body so that we're massaging that thigh bone within the hip socket. Last one here. Great. Now we got 4 in the opposite direction. Really, like I said, working on that strengthening and hip mobility at the same time. Your circles might look different than my circles. Maybe they're bigger, maybe they're smaller. It's okay. You just want to listen to your body and try to find the work in your booty. Last one. Great. Now remember, we're going to do that external rotation where we glide the foot up, grab on to the ankle, to the bottom of the foot. Bottom leg here is going to be pointed. You lift up and lower down. Working on external rotation of this top leg. Belly still pulling into back. It's there the whole time to help protect the spine, help to stabilize your pelvis as you're moving your legs. Last 3 here. Then we're going to go into the circles. Remember, both directions for those circles. Last 2. 1 more. We're up and hold. Point your toe. Baby circle. Baby circle. Inner thigh each and every time you try to lift up. resist the down. Your outer hip is responsible for not letting that foot collapse to the floor. Last 2 and 1. Pause, switch directions. Home stretch, you guys. This is the last set that we have to do. 3, 4. We're going to 10. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, down we go. Awesome job, you guys. Go ahead, come up to a seated position. Maybe you want to do a butterfly stretch or you want to do a figure 4 stretch. I'm going to do butterfly because we just underwent inner thighs. And that butterfly also helps with that external rotation of your hips. Great. So that is such a great exercise for helping you to strengthen your hips, which will help you for your hobbies that are active, like running, basketball, soccer, whatever it is. It will help you to strengthen your hips, your pelvis. It'll make you more agile. It'll help be a little bit more dynamic while also protecting the joints that are down below. For knee pain, a lot of common issues that I see with knees is that people have weak hips. The hips are responsible for helping to keep the knees in alignment underneath that hip socket. If you notice that your knees collapse inwards, this is going to be a really great series for you to do pretty regularly. Be mindful when you first start incorporating it in. Like I said, sometimes less is more, so maybe you can't do all 10 reps and you start with 5 of each of them, or maybe you can't do the whole series. That's okay. Slowly start to progress to add it in so that you can start to strengthen your hips, start to decrease the pain in your body, and get more out of your workouts and get more out of the things that you love to do, because that's what I like to use my fitness routine for, to help me keep doing the things that I love to do for longer. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about it, if there's anything else that you are interested in learning about, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. And remember, I love hearing from you guys. So if you want to chat with me here or whether you want to chat with me on Instagram, I would love to hear from you about what kind of content that you would like to see more of that would help you. And share this with a friend that you think that would enjoy this. No one likes to live in pain, so if you have a friend that has back pain, knee pain, share this with them and see how it helps them out. See how it helps you out. Try to incorporate it in maybe 2 or 3 other times later this week and see how you feel and tell me about it. I'd love to hear from you. If you aren't already subscribed to my page, why not? I'm here to help you move better, feel better, live better. So subscribe to my page so you don't miss out on all the tips that I have for you, fitness-wise, nutrition-wise, lifestyle-wise. And then if you like this video, if you're gonna try it out, or if you felt that burn in your bum, give it a thumbs up so that I know that you liked it and you tried it. Have a good one, you guys. I'll catch you guys next week.